Welcome to Midlife Matters. I'm Marie, and each week I'm joined by my friends Julie and Mindy to talk about all the topics keeping women in the middle years up at night. Today we're talking about all kinds of things related to spring. New movies, books, clothing, plants, home projects, and more. Let's get started. Listeners, today we're talking about spring things, and it just so happens to be the first day of spring today, March 19th. And I actually just found that out last night when I was looking up things for this episode. So Julie and Mindy, my whole life, spring has started on March 21st. But according to the Farmer's Almanac, that has not been the case since 2007. So most of my kids' childhood, it has not been March 21st. And it says that you're dating yourself if you still think it's March 21st and first. And by the shocked looks on your faces, you guys both thought it was March 21st too.
I thought, what about the spring equinox and all that?
Okay, I looked that up. And according to the Farmer's Almanac, spring arrived on the 21st of March during most of the 20th century. But the event slides earlier and earlier during the 400-year Gregorian calendar cycle. The final March 21st equinox was in 2007, even if you use the Greenwich time, as many almanacs do. Now the 21st, March 21st, is gone for the rest of our lives, unless you believe in reincarnation and want to check back during the 22nd century. That's according to the Farmer's Almanac.
Oh my goodness.
How have none of us known that?
Okay, it's always been an iconic day in my family because it's my dad's birthday. March 21st is my dad's birthday. And it's always been like his birthday is the first day of spring.
Not anymore, Mindy. And hasn't been since 2007. I know. We're all aging ourselves.
This. How can they change this?
Well, I don't know that they changed it. I guess it's just the way the equinox falls.
Okay, does the winter one change too?
I didn't look that up.
Okay,
when we do a winter episode, we'll look that up.
I just figure, you know what? It's close enough. So I'm just going to know about the time it happens.
And so listeners, new fact for probably most of the people our age.
Congratulations if you already knew this information.
Okay. But anyways, today we're going to be talking about all kinds of things related to spring. New movies, books, clothing, plants, plans, home projects, and more. So let's get started with clothing. Mindy, I really need some suggestions on clothing, and you're always a great one to update us.
Oh my gosh. Well, definitely am going to take a nod back to our trends episode where we talked about, kind of like what was going to be in 2024. Mm-hmm. But honestly, I'm taking this off the cuff, off of my own personal leanings, and also kind of what I'm seeing in stores that I feel like is a great kind of go-to. I'm going to say layers. I know, groundbreaking layers.
You need it for spring. It was
freezing. Oh, seriously. I mean, I woke up to freezing temps and it's going to be 65 today here.
Okay.
So, I mean, that just is what it is. And I have seen so many different clothing products in linen. So like linen pants, linen shorts, linen tunics. And so I feel like you can't really go wrong. Like it's a nice carefree look. Mm-hmm. Also, you could kind of go with a linen long sleeve when the days are definitely, super cold in the morning and warmer in the afternoon. Also, I'm just seeing lots of like floral dresses to bring the spring in, but you're going to still need a jacket. You're going to need some sort of, like the quintessential summer outfit is like the floral long dress with like a denim jacket. If you had a cute denim jacket, but also, I mean, there's all kinds of cropped situations out there for sweaters and jackets. But I would just go with
the floral dress with my long puffer coat.
Oh my gosh. Julie,
that's what I did Sunday. It was too cold.
Now, that sounds like something we'd see on a runway.
It was 26 degrees here.
Totally make fun of. That's awesome. Your puffer coat. What color is your puffer coat? I'm just curious.
It's gray. It's not springy.
Oh. So that was the other thing I was going to say. Anything floral in any type of situation helps bring spring in. And even if it's cold, you can still have, something happy. And color is everywhere. And so if you can't have it in your puffer coat, maybe get your nails done.
wear a big bright bow.
Yes. Okay. And this will shock you, but you need to be aware, women, that summer is coming, and now is the best time for you to try to find your swimsuit. And right, go ahead and be shocked, but maybe go ahead and put in the work now. Not the work is to get in shape, but maybe the work to just find a good suit, because we have all agreed that we need to continue to put it on and try to live our lives.
Right.
And also, if you're not that comfortable in your swimsuit, the cover up is where it's at. And there are so many cute cover ups right now. And so I'm like, from TJ Maxx to Dillard's to Nordstrom to anywhere you go, if you can find a good swim cover up, it will make you feel so much more comfortable this summer at the beach or the pool.
Mm-hmm. It's a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah. I need maybe some links for good cover ups, Mindy. If you have a cute one. I've had the same one for years and years, and I could use an update, but it's like the last thing that I think of buying. It's like, oh, am I wearing my swimsuit today? Oh, where's that old cover up?
All right. Well, here's my issue. I buy a new one every year, and then I don't have enough time to wear all the cover-ups that I have bought because I love them. Like, I literally love these cover-ups. They're super cute, and I think of all the ways to style. Sarong is one of my favorite things that just ties around your waist. I like the longer one, and it's just so easy to pair with a swimsuit.
Well, if you have some links, send them to me. Okay. I'll include them in the show notes. There's probably other people out there that could use a little bit of help like me.
100%. I can definitely help with that.
Okay, that'd be great. All right, Mindy, thank you for that. Julie, do you have anything else to add in the way of spring fashion?
Well, I want to put in a plug for J. Crew. Do you know if our J. Crew is a J. Crew factory, the one in Brentwood, or is it just a regular?
I don't know if it's a factory or an outlet or whatever. I'm not sure.
Okay. I feel like it is, but I went in there the other day and I bought some stuff, y'all, because it was just, I don't know. It was very preppy. I bought this herringbone one-button blazer. I'm not a blazer person, but now I am. Mm-hmm. They showed it like with the sleeves rolled up and jeans and white jeans. And so I got that. I got a denim skirt. And I got these patch pocket, like instead of a jean pocket, the front pockets are patches on the front, kind of high-rise patch pocket flared pants. Mm-hmm. And I got them in like the green color, that army green. Mm-hmm. And when I was checking out, she asked for my email, and in my email is my birth year. And she said, "Oh, does that happen to be the year you were born?" That was when I was born. And she said, "I bet you're loving all these clothes in here. They remind you of, like your teen years." And it was so true, because it was just really preppy. And then the music started playing, and it was all 80s music. It was like, it was like stepping back in time. So, I don't know. I just loved all their clothes. I mean, I loved everything in there. They had a lot of brightly colored floral block print dresses, that Indian block print. They had lots of dresses.
Oh, I'm going to have to go in there and check them out, because I bought just a few pieces in there last fall. And that's pretty much what I wore all winter in different variations. And I think I might just go in there and do that for spring too, because I don't really go a lot of places that you need to even look that nice. So that's why I could make that limited amount of new things work for me all winter, but I could probably make about the same number of things work for me for the spring and summer too. So anyways, I do love J. Crew, or whatever we have, the factory or the outlet, or I'm not sure, whatever it is.
It sounds fabulous. And Julie's going to be so cute in all those pieces. I'm super excited.
And they were having a big sale, because the lady, they had so much help in there. The lady, I had 3 or 4 ladies saying, "Can I help you? Can I help you?" Like, even in the dressing room, they bring new sizes. And that's kind of a rare thing these days. So I love the service. And everything was either 30 or 40% off. Everything. And she said, "Buy it now, because it won't be here if you come back." So
okay.
Oh,
that's great to know, Julie. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing. All right, well, let's move into, I feel like when we change seasons, we automatically think of, okay, we've got to switch out our wardrobes. And then I feel like when I get to spring, I start looking at my yard, and I start looking at my plants, and we just feel like we need to think about, okay, filling some pots and like starting to mow again. And what are we going to do in our yard? And so, Julie, I know that you've got a huge spring project going. Do you want to share about that?
Yeah, I'm excited. My backyard is pretty much, a clean slate. Well, it's not even clean anymore. It was a clean slate. Now it's just a slate.
Oh, okay.
It's just got grass, and then my dog has killed most of it. So I I have a landscaping plan developed, and they're going to start Monday actually. So
Okay.
yeah, with a trellis, an arbor, and he's got to put some vines on it, and some beds, and some stone pathways it's a very small yard.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
he can apparently get it done in 2 days. So I'm very excited. So
That is going to be so cool.
yeah, because I pretty much from 3 rooms in my house, I look out at the backyard. So I want to look out at something other than what's there right now. And it was just too much to do on my own. So I decided to go with the landscaper. So so that's going. And then in the front yard, I was trying to do weed control and all that myself because my neighbor did. He showed me what to buy, and you like hook it to your hose and spray it. Well, my hose wasn't hooked up all winter. And, when you hire lawn care services, they do treat it in the winter, like to prevent the weeds from the spring.
Right.
So I didn't do any of that. So I've got clover and dandelions and all that. So I did go ahead and hire somebody to just take over that.
Okay.
Did you, Julie? I just did today too.
You did. I just couldn't stand it anymore.
I was going to do it myself. Well, first of all, the guy that I wanted to get, he wasn't taking any new customers. So I thought, but he said, I think you can learn to do this yourself. So I thought, okay, I'll try to learn to do it myself. And I did do one application of like the Scott's 1, 2, 3, 4 program. And I don't even know if it did anything. It rained for several days afterwards, which it hadn't really said it was going to do. You have to time it. It's not that I mind the actual physical labor of it. I mind the mental work of, did I do it right? Was that the right time?
Yes.
Is this even what you should be doing for this grass or these weeds? So anyways, that guy told me yesterday that he had an opening, and I was like, yes, please sign me up. Because I can totally mow. I mean, I have a small enough yard that's just a little electric mower, and I don't mind doing flowers, but actually keeping my grass healthy, I just don't know what I'm doing. And so this guy will do it for me. And yes, I felt so relieved, like, to get that off. I mean, I was willing to learn, but it just seemed like such a big learning curve. Yeah. And I think I'll just stick to mowing and doing the beds.
Yeah, same here. I love to mow and I love to plant flowers, and I'm going to do that in the front a little bit. But I just, I hate to see weeds coming up. And then my neighbors, I know they don't like to see my weeds coming up either.
Right. I was going to say, yeah, don't you feel shamed? Like when you see a dandelion and the wind starts blowing it into the neighbor's yard, you're like, oh, sorry. I'm that person.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never, ever once been in any home, I don't even think growing up, and definitely not married, that we've ever treated our grass or even had to think about it or worry about it. So
really?
This is all new to me. Like, it's literally starting from ground zero. And so it was just, I was like, no, I'm just gonna hire it out.
We had to start when we moved to Brentwood.
Okay.
Oh yeah. And I don't think we've ever stopped.
Okay.
Now we love a good turf, but there's a lot of science behind it. And like, taking soil samples and the whole bit, and like half of our front yard drains well, the other half doesn't. And I mean, we've got multiple personalities going on in our front yard, and it's not that big.
Right.
But, okay. Julie, I wanted to ask you, how did you design the backyard? Did you use something? Did you create it? Did you work with the company? I feel like there's a lot out there to kind of like do that. So I'm curious.
Well, I asked my neighbors, which is the greatest resource in our neighborhood, is what all the other neighbors are doing. And 3 of them had used this one company, and they really liked him. And one neighbor told me that the other neighbor was particularly hard to please and that she loved him. So I was like, okay, that's a good recommendation. So he came out and looked at it, and I kind of just told him the feel I was going for, and he drew it up, and I loved it the first time. And that's what I went with. Yeah.
Okay, I'm guessing. Did you say English cottage at all? And
I just
what you wanted to feel like?
I did say kind of loose, windy, English garden looking types of flowers. Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to see that.
So, I think the plants are going to be kind of small to begin with. So it'll take a while to get it.
To watch them grow. Watch it change. You can take
I'm
pictures.
excited because I don't have anything to tend to out there, except the grass, which is not fun. So,
right.
Yeah, I'm excited. So I haven't planted. Oh, I was going to tell you this. this is another rock your world thing, I guess. I haven't planted any flowers, because I always wait till April 15th because of the last freeze date or whatever. The USDA has changed the plant hardiness zone map, that you look at to
they
see
have?
the zone. Yes, it hasn't been changed in 12 years, but they changed it this year. So,
and what are we now?
I think we've always been 7 something, and now I think there's maybe like an A and a B and a.
Okay.
I don't think we changed too much, but they did say to look at it because.
Okay.
It has changed.
Okay,
I don't know. That surprised me that they changed those things.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm about ready to start thinking about plants that I could put outside. And one plant that I tried last year, I was just at Trader Joe's and they had a plant that I used to have. And I knew it as Wandering Jew, and you might know it as Wandering Jew too, but I kind of thought, isn't there a different name for it? Probably now,
Oh,
and actually, you can call it spiderwort or inch plant. It basically is kind of purple and green, and then it kind of has like tendrils that go off from it. So it can be a house plant. Or they were selling them outside at Trader Joe's last year in the fall. So maybe it was like late summer. So I got one and I put it in a pot on my porch, and that thing loved my porch. It grew and grew, like it had some shade there. It must have liked the temperature. And so I'm looking forward to putting those out again because it was so easy. Like you watered it and that was it. And I tried some pansies, which had done great on my other house's porch, but I don't think they get enough sun where this was, and they just kind of died. But this particular plant did awesome. And I remember that about it. I had it as a house plant years ago, and I remember that about it. Like you basically can't kill it. It's so easy. So if you're in Trader Joe's, I think it was like $9.95 for this really hardy, already started plant. And you can either keep it in your house or outside your house, but I promise you're not going to mess it up.
Okay. That is the best kind. I will say, like, down here, we do hit spring a little earlier or warmer weather a little earlier. And so that freeze that I mentioned, well, this is the one random freeze that we've had in several weeks. And so people have already been buying their ferns for their porches.
Okay.
Those are definitely out. All the spring trees are blooming. A couple weeks ago, I was on a cruise, and my love language is watching things grow in my yard. And so when I came home, Bryce surprised me with he had planted 3 new trees, and they're spring blooming trees.
Nice.
And some jasmine. So literally all the pretty happy colors. So the jasmine that bloom yellow, which are deer resistant because we do struggle with that.
Okay.
And so it has a place that it'll be able to grow up over like a stair railing. And then the cherry trees are blooming now. And they're just a beautiful pink color. And then this other tree, I had never seen it before, but it's going to be a spotlight in our yard. And it's an ornamental willow tree.
Oh, that
and
sounds
so
pretty.
it's a smaller variety. I'll have to look up the name and send it to you. I had never seen one before. And all these plants we got at Home Depot, our Home Depot has been incredible. So pretty much if you can find it at Lowe's or Home Depot right now, that kind of means it's time for it. So
right.
That's maybe a good rule of thumb. If you're like, oh, I'm not sure when I should plant this. They typically only carry things that you can plant like right now. So and you can always talk to their people in the garden center. They're pretty helpful. So that, I mean, between the ferns and the spring blooming trees, if you guys didn't know, one thing that we do is treat our rose bushes, hydrangeas, azaleas with used coffee grounds. And at any Starbucks or probably any coffee store, you can go in and get used coffee grounds in larger quantities for free. Starbucks will have a dedicated basket, like off in the corner, or as you're going out the door, you'll see it sitting there. And just sprinkling coffee grounds on those different types of flowering plants really makes them come to life and bloom a lot more. So it's actually very beneficial for those flowering shrubs.
Okay, so talk to me like I'm a kindergartner, Mindy. So like it's like going to be like these wet coffee grounds, and you're going to come home and you're going to put them like around the base of the tree?
Yes, that's exactly right.
And then the rain is just going to wash them in?
Yeah, and I mean, just sprinkle a little around the roots. And
Okay.
Bryce is the one that spreads it because I find it to be gross.
Oh.
I call that a man's job.
Yeah. I wonder how they ever discovered such a thing.
I have no idea, but it does work. It gives the
Okay.
ground kind of what it needs. And so
Okay.
Bryce has been known to put coffee grounds around almost every shrub or tree in our yard.
Really?
He's convinced it helps everything.
Interesting. It must be something like with the pH balance or something like that. Yeah. Oh,
It's just nice you can get it for free. Like
sure.
Starbucks is happy for you to take it off their hands.
Okay.
And
awesome.
yeah.
All right. Well, that's a good clue. So now that we've talked about clothing, plants, now I know that another thing I turn to when it's spring is thinking about spring cleaning. Is there anything that you guys clean in the spring that you don't normally clean?
I always have a spring cleaning ritual of my porch because it gets that green pollen all over it.
Okay.
And I feel like that's the one thing that, I like to start with the floor and hose everything off and clean the furniture, clean the cushions, all of that. And then last week, I think in the middle of the night, it just dawned on me, I'm supposed to change the air filters.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, good job.
So it had probably been since we moved in, which is totally disgusting. I mean, you could have rolled off the dust on the thing. So so went ahead and I wrote down my filter size, put it in my phone, that I need these 3.
Good job.
And then I bought 2 sets of everything. So I'm going to be on top of that now. So
Okay.
Wow.
that's the only thing I can think of. I don't clean as much as I used to. So I don't know. I don't.
Right.
Or maybe I'm just not there yet.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I was waiting on the 22nd.
Oh yeah, you're gonna start in a couple days.
It's not spring yet. I'm not cleaning.
No.
How about you, Mindy? Is there anything that you tend to clean in the spring?
All right. Well, this is kind of sad, but it's normal things. It's a lot brighter outside now later because of the time change. So I've noticed my windows need a good scrub.
Yes.
I'm like, oops, sorry guys. So the windows, I did get down and get all up and close and personal with my baseboards the other day in the bathrooms.
Okay.
And I refused to do the boys, but they have had a list that they had to clean in their bathrooms. So I'm just doing normal stuff. Ceiling fans. I'm thinking dust. Like I'm seeing the dust everywhere. And that's probably like the pollen coming in on our clothes. But yeah, Bryce changed our air filters and I'm working on just like dust and surfaces and, things like that. So I can't say there's anything special other than normal everyday stuff.
Right. Yeah. I don't know if there's anything special, but my cleaning, I feel like is sort of dictated by the time change. And I'm noticing things because the lighting is different. So I'm like, oh boy, that hasn't been dusted in a while. Or, ooh, I really need to wipe the fingerprints off that window or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, more light in the house makes me feel like I need to clean more.
Well, and it's so more light and later, but it's also, I love how, light wasn't coming through that window 2 weeks ago. And now it's, it's a totally different angle. So it does highlight things.
Right.
Well, I mean, this is how bad the pollen is down here. Ours is all yellow, Julie. You said yours is green. So Abby was visiting last week. We went to Auburn for the day. And you guys, it was a yellow haze in the air.
Okay.
It was so thick that I'm washing my hair almost every night. I don't ever do this, but this is another spring cleaning situation. Is our sheets have to be washed a lot more often. Just everything I feel like needs to be cleaned and wiped down. Shoes, like left at the door. It's just so bad.
Yeah, I never really thought about that. I was reading up on allergies since you mentioned that. And, it said limit your exposure. Like you don't go outside. But then if you do, you have to remember that you're bringing it back in. So you really should do laundry more, clean yourself more, like your shoes or floors, because you are bringing it in with you and your pets. And
Yeah.
So as much as I'm thrilled about the warm weather, you guys, I can't get out and walk right now.
Oh, because of the allergies.
Everything about it is beautiful, but I'm like, I'm not going to be able to breathe out there, And even Nathan texted me from school today and said, Mom, my eyes are killing me. Can you please bring eye drops? I had to run to the school to give my child eye drops.
Yeah.
I mean,
you
it's
guys
just
must
bad.
have it really bad right now. It hasn't really quite hit for me yet. Maybe
It's all the
maybe some
trees.
people. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, they did
yeah.
say the pollen count is higher in morning and early afternoon, and evening it drops. So if you're going to walk, maybe save it for night.
Maybe nighttime.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, this is surprising, but I've actually seen a lot of movies coming out this spring that I do want to see. And I've seen them kind of previewed, like when I went to see a different movie. So here's one that I want to see. It just came out March 8th, Cabrini. So I think it's based on a true story, but basically I think she's a nun, an Italian nun, it looks like. And she risks everything when she petitions New York's mayor to house the city's orphans. And it just looks like a really good, I don't know. I love a story like that. It's
I've heard people talking about it.
Yeah, it's historical and it just looks really good. There's another one that I saw that interests me because we read the book in book club, Ming Wang. He's a doctor here in Nashville. He's real famous eye surgeon, and he has an incredible story. But there's a movie about him coming out, Julie. I don't know if you saw that, called Sight. No. And so it says that when a blind orphan arrives in his waiting room seeking a miracle, a world-renowned eye surgeon must confront his past and draw on the resilience of his youth to try to restore her sight. So I think that sounds, like it would be really good. And that one is coming out May 24th, so later this week. Okay, and then
March 24th?
Sorry. March 24th, later this week. Yes, March 24th. Wait a minute. Uh-huh. Okay, then another one I really want to see, it's this movie about King and Country, which I have heard of them, and it's called Unsung Hero, and it follows the Smallbone family from Australia as they move to the U.S. to rebuild their lives after the collapse of their music company. And so it's basically going to talk about For King and Country and then also Rebecca St. James, who I believe is maybe their daughter. That's the impression I got from the trailer. Is she their daughter? Is she related?
I don't know. I haven't heard that.
Okay.
I didn't think they were related.
No, I think it is because it says, with their own dreams on hold, David and Helen begin to realize the musical prowess in their children, who would go on to become two of the most successful acts in inspirational music history. 5-time Grammy Award-winning artists For King and Country and Rebecca St. James.
My mind is blown. I love both of them. I had no idea they were related.
I didn't either.
Yeah. So I want to see that movie, Unsung Hero. And that is coming April 26th. So you have about another month to wait for that one.
Grant, for a Christmas gift a couple years ago, gave me tickets to see For King and Country in Knoxville.
Okay.
And Grant is not a touchy-feely person, but like when that song came on and they were singing Unsung Hero, it's a beautiful song.
Okay.
Grant put his arm around me and was singing it to me.
You guys need to go see the movie together.
I was like, oh my gosh, like, hold it together. No, I'm not holding it together. I'm like, it's such a beautiful song. They're an amazing group. Oh, okay. All the feels.
Yes. Well, you need to put that on your calendar then to go to see that movie with him. That would be great. Okay. So then another movie that's coming out that I'm going to see, who wants to go with me? Maybe my dad. I don't know. There just are not enough dog movies in the world. And this is coming out, a heartwarming dog movie character called Arthur the King. And it stars Mark Wahlberg, and he's an aging athlete whose last big chance to prove himself and earn a huge win in the Adventure Racing World Championship in the Dominican Republic. And this dog comes along for the race, and I just think it looks so cool. At first, the dog is like a distraction, and then it ends up inspiring the human athletes to push themselves through impossible odds to the finish line. Doesn't that sound great?
I do like animal movies if they live.
It sounds like this one lives. It sounds like this
check
one's
on that,
lived.
Julie.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. I know where the red fern grows. Oh, killed me.
Tragic.
It was.
Yeah.
Traumatic.
Okay, so Arthur the King is already out. That just came out March 15th. So Julie, maybe you want to go see it with me. I don't know.
Awesome.
Okay, and then this is another good one. One Life, and this is with Anthony Hopkins. Okay, this tells the story.
This is the one I want to see.
You want to see this one? Okay, we'll go together. Okay, this tells the story of Nicholas Winton, who's better known as the British Oscar Schindler, and he helped to save the lives of over 600 children, the majority of them Jewish, from the Nazis during World War II. So I just think this one looks really good. And I'm trying to see when that one comes out. Okay, now that
this week.
one, yes, that one's different because it's actually being released in different countries on different dates. So like it's already out in other parts of the world and it's only coming for a limited time to here.
Right.
So we need to make sure we see it, Julie.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so United States, it says it came out March 15th. So Julie, it says limited. So we might need to get there this week or we might miss it.
Yes, I know. I don't want to miss it. And that's so unusual.
Yeah.
I never have 5 movies I want to see, at one time.
Yeah. Are there any movies that are coming out that you guys want to see?
Well, I have a TV show that I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
And I'm not a big TV watcher and I'm usually late to the game, but this is current, y'all.
Okay.
Ooh.
What is it?
I went away with some friends last week for spring break and they were talking about all the stuff they watched. So I was taking mental notes, writing it all down, And so I started watching something on Apple TV. I don't even have Apple TV, but they have a great little scheme. They'll let you watch the first episode free. So I thought I'll just do that and see if I even like it. And of course,
Hook you.
went and got Apple TV right then. And
Nice.
it's called The New Look. And I hate to even recommend TV shows because I know people have different levels of what they tolerate and are sensitive to in TV. But I would say each episode is rated differently. Like one might be mature, one might be TV-14, one might be, it wasn't just the whole show.
Okay.
And I would say it's similar rating to The Crown.
Oh, okay.
Like there's language, but not terrible and not a lot. But The New Look follows Christian Dior in Paris. So this makes me think of spring. It's in Paris and it's in the 1940s at the beginning of World War II. Oh. And this is a true story.
Okay.
And then it follows Coco Chanel and all the fashion contemporaries like I'm trying to think of the other ones. They're all names you would recognize. Okay. Pierre Cardin, things like that. And Coco Chanel, she shuts her fashion house down because she's not going to make dresses for the Nazis because that's the only people that could buy dresses because this is occupied Paris.
Okay.
And Dior's just now starting his career and he continues to make dresses because he has to put food on his table. Like they kind of see it differently.
Sure.
And it just contrasts their past that they choose. And it's very intriguing. These aren't heroes by any means, but just to see how vulnerable people were in occupied France and the decisions they had to make. Some were a little shady somewhere, but who knows what you do if you were in that situation to save a life of your nephew or to say, you know what I mean? It was just, and then it goes on after the war and just how The New Look was Dior's first collection after the war. And it really changed. It was the development of modern fashion and just kind of how he brought life and joy back to Paris after such a dark time with his designs.
Yeah.
So I had never, I'd only heard of the names and seen their labels in stores, had no idea, thinking these are real people that lived real lives.
Oh,
yeah.
These fashion houses trying to make it through Nazi occupation.
That's cool.
My goodness.
Yeah. Oh, how many episodes is that?
I think there are, that's what's interesting is I watched all 7 in one day.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
That's not like you.
No. And then the 8th one is coming out next week. So I don't know how Apple does. I'm not used to watching Apple TV, but there is, so I don't know if there's going to be more or what.
Okay.
But I will say it is hard to watch in some aspects. They don't treat the Nazi stuff lightly. It's kind of horrific,
Okay.
So I'll give you that warning, but
yeah.
So it was really intriguing. I'm always just kind of fascinated by that whole time period, and and it really wasn't about the war. It was very personal lives and how it affected them.
That tends to be the kind of books I read all the time. All the ones I choose are like that.
Well, let's take a quick look at books. I have 2 books to share that are coming out or just came out this spring. So the first one is, I never pre-order books, but after listening to her podcast that she started last fall to kind of, I think, drum up interest in the book, I had pre-ordered House Rules by Michael and Smith. Because you also got like, I haven't watched it yet, but you also got access to kind of like a free class or video if you pre-ordered. So that book is coming out, I think around April 23rd. And so that will just show up on my doorstep because I've already pre-ordered it. And I just like her and I like her books. So I figured, just going to do that. So that's a spring book. And then there's another book that I'm on the wait list for the library, and it's quite a long wait list. I love Kristen Hanna books, and so her latest one is going to be historical fiction. It's called The Women, and it focuses on the area of Vietnam, and it's about a woman that's a nurse in Vietnam. And I think I've mentioned before, like I always feel like I don't understand Vietnam. Like you would go through history class, and like they'd be coming up to Vietnam in May or June, and they would give it the shortest amount of analyzation.
2 sentences,
I still don't even know why we were there, when it started, why we ever got out, why we, I don't understand really anything about it. And I just thought that this would be interesting. And anyways, so The Women is coming out, and I'd be interested to know if anyone has made it through their wait list yet, or if they've read it or what they thought about it. But that's a spring book that I am watching and I'm going to read. Do you guys have anything for spring books?
I don't, but I did see the Michael and Smith book, and I thought I do want to read that.
Okay.
But I haven't pre-ordered it.
I just wait for you two to tell me what to read to talk about on the podcast.
That's funny. Well, I know also that spring is just a big time for people that have kids in school. My middle child is getting ready to graduate from college this spring. And Mindy, you have one that's getting ready to graduate from high school. And I feel like high school is like, I mean, college, yes, but I don't have that much to do for college. But for high school, this is like game on for parents. So what's going on in your life as far as spring and high school goes?
Oh my goodness. I did make a list for this particular category because I feel like you go into senior year, and we did the whole episode about it, but literally it's almost like you wait for the whole year to figure out all the things that you need to do. And once you've made a college decision, all of a sudden you're behind. Like no more than we make a decision, then we feel like, oh no, now it's, blah, blah, blah. All right. So my big announcement is we found out that Jacob was accepted to UGA in Athens, Georgia. Go Dogs. Apparently we're going to have to start barking. They do happen to win a lot of football games for those football lovers out there. They are the SEC champs, I think twice.
Okay.
So we are super excited for Jacob. But that immediately meant that it's time to prepare. Like we have to sign up for housing. We have to sign up for his schedule. What about parking? Oh, he's going to end up with some sort of commute because parking is terrible. He still has not taken senior pics, but Maria, I took a note from you and I waited and we're doing his senior pics like the beginning of April.
That's perfect.
So thankfully, he's not too worried about that. He has to find a roommate. We have to figure out graduation announcements. He doesn't really have a lot of input, so I'm going to figure that out myself. We're going to be hosting a lot of family, and I have a graduation party to plan. Hopefully it doesn't rain because then everyone actually gets to attend the graduation.
Yeah. Oh, is your graduation actually outside?
It's outside.
Okay.
We have a huge stadium that it's always held at, but if it rains, then we're only allowed like 4 tickets. You guys, that doesn't even cover my family, my like immediate family.
Yeah.
So it's almost like we found out about UGA on Friday, and now we're headed down there tomorrow. And like I said, I already feel behind. We know nothing about the campus. We know nothing about the town, but I'm like taking in all the information. It's almost like the faucet has been off. All of a sudden it's on full blast and I'm choking.
Yeah.
I'm being waterboarded, let alone my own emotions about like, I keep staring at him, creeping him out because I'm staring at him. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is happening.
Right.
This is happening.
Oh, well, you're going to start to feel better. I think just visiting tomorrow, having some questions answered, laying eyes on where he'll be, walking the campus, like even that will kind of help.
It will.
And it's good that you don't have a long time to wait until you're doing that.
Yes. I mean, and now we're already like, I have his move out date.
Okay.
So So
Okay.
now another date to wait and then have all the emotions.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well, you're not alone, because there's lots of
Ugh,
senior parents that are having all
yes.
those same emotions and same feelings and thoughts and scrambling.
I do feel for all you other senior parents, this is an absolute emotional roller coaster. Whether you got waitlisted, deferred, denied, accepted,
Mhm.
we've had it all.
Mhm.
And I do understand. And so when you finally get that acceptance that your kid does say yes to,
Mhm.
oh, it's all on celebrating. So I am trying to take a moment to celebrate. I will say
Mhm.
that. I don't want to
Mhm.
miss that this is a great thing with all the things to do.
Yeah. That's awesome, Mindy. Congratulations to
Yeah,
Jacob and you.
congratulations.
Yeah. That's wonderful.
Yes. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. All right, well, let's talk about some miscellaneous things related to spring. We kind of just have a little hodgepodge here. Let's talk about food. One thing I wanted to share was a meal, and I guess I'm just going to call it a spring meal, even though you could literally make it any time. But because I made it this week, I feel like it's a spring meal. But my daughter was home on spring break, and she said, "Could you please go to Trader Joe's and buy the sweet potato gnocchi?" And I was like, "Sweet
Ah.
potato gnocchi? I just doesn't seem like something you would request." She's like, "My friends buy it. They say it's great." Then she said, "Also get the chicken sausage." And they put the two together. And so I thought, okay, well, that's an easy enough meal. I was at Trader Joe's. So they sell in the frozen section sweet potato gnocchi with butter and sage. And you guys, it is so easy. It is so easy. You literally just put it in your skillet with a little bit of water, and you follow the directions for a few minutes, and then you do something else with it for just a couple minutes, and it's just delicious. It kind of makes its own sauce.
Mm.
And I would have not thought that I would like it, and I really did. And then they
Mm.
have a couple different kinds of chicken sausage. I've tried the maple, I think, before. That's a little bit too sweet for me. But I bought the Italian this time, and so we just had that and the Italian chicken sausage, the gnocchi, and together it was such an easy meal. You make them both in a skillet, and it was light, and I don't know, it tasted good, and it was something new for spring. So if you want to try an easy meal at Trader Joe's, I recommend that one.
Mm. So you didn't have to add a sauce, like that was enough.
No, it
Like
makes
what?
it own.
Yeah.
Makes its own with the water. Like you put it on kind of
Interesting.
like two different heats, like
Mhm.
one different heat for a minute and then another
Hmm.
different heat. It was really good. Like I highly recommend it. And you could even bring it as an appetizer somewhere, I think. Just the gnocchi.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So really good. How about
Yum.
you? Do you guys have any dishes you can recommend for spring?
Well, I have two things that I wanted to share. First of all, it's a carrot souffle. And
Mm.
I had this recipe that I had made years ago, and I would typically make it on Easter.
Mhm.
And a couple of weeks ago, I went to someone's house for lunch. It was my trainer. She always hosts all of her clients for lunch once a year, and she had made the carrot souffle. And of course, she made a very healthy version.
Mhm.
So it had a lot less sugar than my recipe called for, but I liked it because mine tasted more like a dessert and hers
Okay.
was more like a side.
Mm.
But you just boil like 2 pounds of carrots and then mush them up and then add some sugar,
Interesting.
flour, and it is delicious. And
Oh,
David
wow.
loved it. I mean, I've made it twice for just weeknight dinners, as
Really?
a side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's really good leftover. It's so good. And then also at Trader Joe's, they have chocolate croissants.
Mm,
And I
that
don't know if you've
sounds
ever
good.
bought them because they have some that aren't frozen, but these are frozen. You get 4 in a box, and they come out just really flat.
Mm.
And I was going to serve them at book club, and I looked at the directions, and it said, remove from box and let rise for 9 hours.
9 hours.
Yeah. And this was going to be the morning of the book club. So
Oops.
I was so upset. I was like, who thinks to read the box the day before you're going to eat
Right.
something,
Right.
So I looked up ways to speed that up. So I put them in the oven on proof. I have a proof setting, which is like 170 degrees. And you put like a bowl of water in the oven with it and the humidity and all. So they rose
Oh.
in 2 hours, and they quadruple in size, y'all.
Oh.
They're huge.
Sounds
And
awesome.
then they just have like a little, kind of like a tube shaped thing of chocolate in the middle.
Yeah.
And they are
Mhm.
as good as any French bakery. I mean, they're really,
I'm gonna have to
really
try
good.
those.
So that's a good, if you were asked to take something somewhere or serving them for
Mhm.
breakfast or,
Mhm.
so you're really supposed to set them in your oven overnight to
Mm.
rise.
Okay.
And I've done that since. It does work. But
Okay. And do you have to have a heated oven when you're doing that?
no, just
Okay.
I just put them in there so
Okay.
no cat got them.
Oh.
And I guess it's kind of airtight in there. So, but those are really, really good to try. And then I've got one more thing. I don't ever make homemade rolls. That's just not how I want to spend my time. But Kroger sells little frozen dough balls in a bag, like 40 dough balls in a bag. And it's just yeast rolls. And y'all, they are so good. I used to do this a lot and I kind of forgotten about it. I just put them in a, like a Pyrex dish. And I put cornmeal in the bottom so you don't have to spray it. I've learned cornmeal is like a good non-stick thing. We put it on the bottom of pizza, and you can also do it for bread. So I just keep a little Pyrex dish with cornmeal in it, and I plop the rolls in there, and they do have to rise. I think it's 2 hours. And you just cover them, and they quadruple inside. They kind of like all grow together and form this. Oh, they are so good. And it's just such an easy way to have, quote, homemade rolls at night.
Oh,
right.
That's wonderful.
I had them with chicken salad one day for lunch when I was having somebody over, and it's just a really nice treat, and it smells like yeast rolls when they're cooking. So that's just an easy shortcut.
Love it.
I feel like you could
when are we gonna have those homemade rolls again? It's like, well, not really homemade, but
the homemade rolls.
Yeah,
air quotes.
I mean, they taste like.
I feel like that sounds delicious with like different jams and jellies. Like I do love all the different flavors. That would be so good.
They're good breakfast, lunch, dinner, anytime.
I don't have anything groundbreaking in this category either. All that I'm doing for spring is any grilled meat that we are already making, I'm putting that on a kale crunch salad. So you can get the bagged salad. So, I mean, so simple. But the kale, any kind of mixed kale salad, I get from the store, and then I'll add even maybe more dried cranberries and fresh blueberries, and then I'll put my grilled meat on top. And there's something about that just sounds so fabulous, and it's so easy. And so it's just, that's kind of like my go-to grilled meat, but on a salad because it's spring.
That reminds me, I've gotten this a couple different times. I bought it at Sam's Club, but I even saw it at Kroger the other day. It's made by Taylor Farms. It's the maple bourbon bacon chopped salad kit. It is so good. And every time I've served it, people are like, did you make this salad, or where'd you get that? I don't know if it's the dressing or what they have in it, but I feel like the maple bourbon bacon chopped kit would be perfect with all the grilled meat that you're doing, Mindy.
Oh. That sounds, I'm going to look that up right now.
You got it at Kroger?
I've seen it at Kroger. I bought mine at Sam's Club a few times. And now the other day I saw it at Kroger.
Oh, FYI, Walmart has that salad.
Oh, great. Okay. Perfect.
It's on my Walmart app.
Oh,
there you go.
Perfect. Add it to the cart, Mindy.
Yep. Right now.
Yeah. That sounds yummy. One of the things I'd like to talk about is just decor, like how I change things up in the spring. One thing I always do is go to Trader Joe's and just find some kind of, usually not fresh cut flowers, but something potted that'll live a while. And I found grape hyacinths, which are those little, they're just adorable. They're little purple, they look like grape clusters. And they come in a shallow terracotta pot, and there's probably 10 bulbs in there. And they've been blooming on my table for probably 2 weeks now, and still going. What my cat doesn't try to eat.
Did you replant them when you got home?
No, I put them. I had this big blue and white bowl on my table, and I set the planter down in it, and then I covered it with that. I think it's called reindeer moss. It looks like fake green. Well, I guess it's real, but just covered it, and then I had these little felt Easter eggs, and I just dropped some of them in there. It's really cute, and it's just that's kind of all I do for Easter is just something that's on the table.
Really cute.
It sounds beautiful.
But that's lived for a while, and I could, if they die. If it does die, I could just put another pot in there of something like tulips or buttercups or something. But I love the purple and green together.
I saw those the other day when I was walking in, and I wondered, would they live inside? Because, they have them displayed outside. So I weren't sure if they're an indoor plant. So I might try them.
But, it's a bulb, so it's going to bloom and go away.
Okay.
But I bet you could I bet you could plant the bulbs.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And then one other thing is I bought these faux tulips, and I'm pretty sure I got them on Amazon. a lot of influencers, like we've talked about, would say this is the best looking faux tulip on the internet, so I fell for it and I bought them a couple of years ago. And I just like to put those out in the spring, either in a container, or this year I have them in a basket on my front door. And they come in all colors, like white, yellow, pink.
Do you have a link for those, Julie?
Yeah, I'll look for it and try to share that.
Okay. Yeah, I need you to influence me. I'd really like to see these.
Yeah, well, I feel like, Julie, it's you that was telling me that you've been having a lot of luck with faux plants lately.
Yeah, I found a lot of good ones at Michael's a couple of years ago, and I haven't seen them since. But I have one of those Monstera plants.
Okay.
Because to me, they kind of look fake anyway,
Okay.
And like this. Some plants look better fake than others. And then I bought a olive tree at Home Goods.
Okay.
And I was in there not looking for an olive tree, and I came out with an olive tree because it looked so real. I couldn't pass it up. And Marie walked right past it one night on my front porch.
Oh, yeah. And I thought it was real.
Yeah. And she thought it was real. So I was like, oh. Because she asked me something like, how do you take care of that? And I was like, it's fake.
I do love those fake plants. And like Chris Loves Julia has done this in the past where she shows planters and then fake like evergreen shrubbery or topiaries or the trees. And then because they redid their whole backyard. And that's what I want to do. I think I'm going to invest in some fake like boxwood or topiaries that will always stay green to put on my porches because they look so good and they look real.
Well, if you find any good links, pass them my way, Mindy.
Yes. That's something you almost have to see in person before you know,
Yeah.
Yes. Well, listeners, we have shared so many things today that we don't even have I'm a fans left. We've shared all of them with you. So no I'm a fan today. But we would love to know what you're a fan of this spring, or we'd love to know what you're adding or anything you want to share with us. You can come and find us on Instagram at Midlife Matters Podcast, or you can email us at midlifematterspodcast@gmail.com. But Mindy and Julie, thanks for talking about spring. I'm excited. I mean, it is the official first day. We learned that today.
Yay. So I'm glad we learned that.
We would have been confused if we would have been seeing things like today's the first day of spring.
I know. I'm glad you educated us.
All right. Well, we will talk next week.
All right.
Sounds great.
All right,
bye, girls.
Bye. We're so happy you joined us today. You can find the show notes for this episode at midlifematterspodcast.com. Also, please tell a friend about the show and help them hit the free subscribe button on their favorite podcast app. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Midlife Matters Podcast. That's where we post pictures and stories about all the things we talk about in each episode. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.